It's, of course, very easy to consider and to interpret everything is said by Donald Trump as threats. But in reality, we have to consider that his style, his way of doing things, it's quite different from any other politician. So the idea is to avoid to interpret literally what he says, but to see, in fact, what we can find behind this um, narrative, because the idea is to imagine the real situation. So he's talking about security, about strategy, and about, of course, um, Panama, Canada, and Greenland. But the idea, the real idea, is to put pressure on those special cases in order to change things at the political level and, of course, the geopolitical level. So, for many of his opponents, it's easy to criticize this way of doing things. But at the end, we can see that there is a result. For example, for the NATO, when we talked about the 2% of the contribution, it was something like an illusion. But now it's a reality. We have 32 states and member states, and we can see that only two of them, by the way, one of them is Canada, are below this level. So the idea is maybe to use a brutal force to change things. And for many people, this is very dangerous. This is very uncomfortable. But at the end, we have a result. So the idea is what? Do we have an influence on Greenland from China? Yes. Do we have the same thing for Panama? Yes. So the problem is, can we say in a very sure manner that there is no problem with Canada about any intention or any expansion of Russia or China? So for many people, it's not obvious. They are thinking that it's a way to use China, Russia, or Iran, like the problem of the communism in the Cold War. But now we are in reality in a second Cold War. And this Cold War is, of course, against China, because it's between the US and China, but also the US and Russia, and a little less with Iran. But the idea is that we have this. So if we want to see the reality of this narrative, is to avoid to interpret what the style and to see what is said under this style. And the idea is that we have a willingness from China and from Russia to expand themselves. We have a willingness to control all those special cases. So the idea is not, of course, to imagine that Canada will be a new state in the US. No. But to change the situation about the military effort of Canada in the framework of NATO, because it's impossible to accept the situation like this. So we know that for Canada, it's very easy to say, okay, we have only the US at our frontiers. So there is no problem of security. But the problem is that you have to give a contribution in order to enjoy this. And this is a problem because for Trump, of course, many things are in the framework of the transaction. What you win, what I win, is it a deal or not? So the idea is to see the background of the talks of Donald Trump. And the background is clear. We are talking about grand strategy, we are talking about military problems, and we are not talking in reality about economics. So it's a situation where the geoeconomics is only a phenomenon of the geopolitics, and we have also the geostrategy. So the idea is to avoid to be shocked by this way to present things and to see what is the real goal, what is the task, what is the strategy, which is hidden at first glance, but we can understand this code deeper if we try to see what is invisible. With this manner, we can understand many things and avoid many misunderstandings, because the idea is to see how we can build the next reality.